Meredith and I have been members at East Cross for almost 40 years now. It's the typical story of we both grew up here in Bartlesville. She was First Baptist Church, I was Disciples of Christ, and we wanted to find our own church, and East Cross fit that perfectly for us. Over the last 40 years, we've been that family that has had a few stretches where we're not here. We've missed a few weeks, and I think we could probably say that there's times we've missed a few months and even longer. But the great thing about the congregation at East Cross is that whether you're coming every week or all of a sudden you're gone for a year and a half and then you come back, that feeling of family is always there. That feeling of welcome is always there, and it's a very, very special place to Meredith and me. One great example of East Cross and the compassion that this congregation has, and an interesting link that it played in my family, is that my daughter Jordan is on the board of directors of Ray of Hope here in town. As they outgrew the small little building that they were working in, it just so happened that Grace Epworth Methodist Church had reached a point where their congregation was getting smaller and smaller, and they reached the decision that it was time to close their doors and merge with East Cross. It's fascinating how things work like that, as something was slowing down and ending, in its own way, it gave birth to something that's allowing real hope for children that have no hope. And that's pretty cool.
I think before places like Ray of Hope, children would have to go from place to place, from agency to agency, and talking to different professionals so that they could get the help that they needed. And when you have a place like Ray of Hope, where we bring all of those professionals together in one place, the child comes to us, and we surround the child with everything that they need to get a good investigation of the case, and then the services that they need so that they can get better afterwards.
A facility like Ray of Hope is very important for our community. It allows law enforcement and other agencies to come together and work as a team when they walk in there, and it looks like a home, and there's toys and there's snacks and furniture. I think it eases their mind.
Ray of Hope is something really special. I think of them as literally as angels in the darkness. Every day they are dealing with things that you and I don't want to deal with. We don't want to talk about it. We don't even want to believe it exists out there. And thank God for these people that do.
I think people come to Ray of Hope and they're scared. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what's going to happen. I think for the most part they feel pretty overwhelmed. I think sometimes you have caregivers who feel betrayed by family members or people that they trust. And so they're coming to Ray of Hope not knowing what to expect. So the first point of contact is going to be our victim advocate, and she's going to make sure the family has everything that they need to make them feel comfortable and safe and welcome. After that, we're going to introduce them to our forensic interviewer, and she's going to meet with the child and talk with them in a very developmentally appropriate way, in a non-leading way, to just get the child's story, to get the information about the experience that the child's had from a very neutral perspective. If the child needs a medical exam, then we have a forensic nurse examiner, and her role is really twofold: to ensure that if there's any evidence that needs to be collected, that she's able to do that, and then to also just reassure children that their bodies are healthy.
If there's no adult there to help them, what are they going to do? Who are they going to run to? They can't pack a bag and leave the house. They can't go get in the car and drive away. I mean, they're totally dependent on us.
These children have experienced unimaginable trauma, and when we ask them to tell their story repeatedly, they just go through that trauma over and over again. And so bringing them to a place like Ray of Hope, where they can tell their story one time and then get the help that they need, can make all the difference.
I believe there's hope. I believe there's hope for this to get better. I believe in this work. I believe that there is room for change.
I'm passionate about ensuring that the professionals who are investigating child abuse have the resources that they need to respond well, because I know that when they respond well, children have better outcomes.
Make a decision that I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to be on the good side of this thing, and Ray of Hope is on the good side of this thing.
I'm Bob Fraser, and this is my East Cross story.